for West Virginia, a level of competition that you should be able to handle fairly comfortably, but for the Golden Bears, a challenge. You want to find out where your weaknesses are. Opening tip is won by West Virginia, and away we go. Good to see Madison Smith back in the lineup for the Mountaineers running the point. Without her a lot of last year. KK Deans with it, looking inside. Touch for Jayla Hemingway early on. Here's a drive, and Hemingway floats one up. Early on, Leonor Ferreira for West Virginia Tech gets a foul. Brianna Ball, Alanis Hill, Brittany Justice, Elle Baker, and Ferreira, the starters for West Virginia Tech. Jayla Hemingway at the line. It's 1-0 West Virginia. KK Deans, Esmery Martinez, Kari Nyblack, and Madison Smith make up the starting five for Mike Carey's crew. Second on the way. And a violation will wipe that off. So 1-0 West Virginia. 15 seconds in. We're going to see a lot of different combinations, Meg.
Yeah, early on, seeing pressure from West Virginia. You know that a Mike Carey team is going to be defensively minded. They're going to be up in your face, and I think he knows the way his team is, and a young, inexperienced team. They need to get up. They need to get up and down the floor, and no better way to do that than add early full-court pressure.
See Alana Sill trying to challenge the pressure, lobs it into the post. Elle Baker calling for steps. So turnover early on.
And granted, this is the experienced Mountaineers that are on the floor, but you know, he's sending a message to every single girl on this deep bench of the Mountaineers. Hey, this is how we play. We get up and down the floor. We're going to be aggressive on the defensive end, and that's a solid first defensive possession for the Mountaineers.
Deans with a kick, a little wide, and an unforced error for West Virginia. I think you can press any coach at any level by playing good defense.
Absolutely. You're going to hear that, you know, from just about any coach. That's how you earn playing time. The offense is going to come, and that's something you can work out. But defense is just all about heart and energy that you put out.
And a turnover the other way, so West Virginia with the ball. Looking for our first field goal of the game from either side. West Virginia Tech scrimmage Concord College out of Athens, West Virginia on Monday. And West Virginia has scrimmaged Buffalo earlier this season. Esmery Martinez with a drive and the left hand, a little short.
And although she missed the layup, I'm loving Esmery Martinez outside in guard territory, handling the ball, going straight down the lane. I don't know if she's going to be able to do that against Big 12 teams, but I'd love to see her expand her game because I think she is such a dynamic player.
Kari Nyblack picks up the offensive foul, so slow start to this one. West Virginia Tech will have a chance to take the lead on this trip. One of the two twins, Brittany Justice, will handle the ball on the right wing. Brittany and her twin sister Whitney out of Summers County. Played for Summers County High School, a team that won over 100 straight games at the high school level. Four-step runner from Alanis Hill off the back iron. And West Virginia Tech keeps possession. Tough for this West Virginia Tech team, I imagine, to get comfortable on offense against a Big 12 defense.
West Virginia is long. They are going to be physical. They're a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. And when I said that to Coach Hodge, he said, a little bit? I think they're a lot bigger, a lot stronger. But this is great for them, and I really respected what Coach Hodge said. He said, it's going to expose some weaknesses that we have, and what better way to learn that than October 28th for your season. Justice
fires the brick. Is out of bounds, and West Virginia gets it back. Yeah, they start on Monday. Their season starts right around the corner, so they're finding out a lot about their team. Meanwhile, Mike Carey's got to wait a little while. Weird to have to wait 2 weeks between your exhibition and your opener.
Yeah, it really is, because you get so hyped up to play in a game and play in the Coliseum again against people, and then all of a sudden you have to go back to practice for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You better perform today. I'll just say that from a Coach Carey's standpoint.
Hemingway misses the runner, and so West Virginia will keep possession after hits off West Virginia Tech. Still 1-0 West Virginia. And a free throw early on from Jayla Hemingway. Outside look, KK Deans doesn't get it, but Madison Smith back, and good to see her back in the lineup for West Virginia. We saw down the stretch West Virginia struggle without that key cog. Inside look for Martinez. It's off the iron, and it trickles home to extend the West Virginia lead.
And give West Virginia Tech credit. They're really packing the paint inside, not allowing Nyblack and Martinez to go to work. The guards are going to really have to start opening things up for the inside, and that's hitting some shots outside and penetrating and pitching.
So Nyblack with a first from the field tonight. 3-0 West Virginia. Yeah, to get back to Madison Smith, we saw a West Virginia team look a little disorganized down the stretch last year. When you lose your point guard, there really isn't a whole lot of things in sports otherwise to compare that to.
No, there really isn't. Maybe just quarterback in football. That's your leader. That's your general on the floor. That's who sets the tone of the game. And a lot of guards, even though you might have handled the ball in high school, you're not handling the ball the same way bringing up the floor in the Big 12 like you did in high school. So it's very difficult when you lose a point guard.
Smith defends on the other end. A banked in three from Leonor Ferreira. A little kiss here, the friendly roll.
Whatever you got to do, and Coach Hodge very big on Leonor Ferreira, came with him when he got the job at West Virginia Tech. So, hey, if it goes in, what's the difference? A bank is a bank, who cares?
We see the first of multiple subs. Blessing Ejiofor for West Virginia, and Emily Witt comes on for West Virginia Tech. 3-3 early on. Ferreira 3, Nazis. Again, a cold shooting start for both of these teams. West Virginia shooting less than 20%.
The guard's really not getting a ton of action, not getting those open shots that you saw. That's a great rebound by Blessing Ejiofor, but again, you have to give West Virginia Tech credit. They're really packing the paint, making shots very difficult, and West Virginia just hasn't been able to find the bottom of the net.
Couple rebounds quickly for West Virginia, and that's the kind of spark the Blessing Ejiofor gives.
And the thing is, West Virginia's guards, and we talked about this, Eric, the loss of Kaiser Gondrzik and the amount of points that she was able to score, but not just that, how she was able to create for every player on the floor. She could penetrate and find an opening that people weren't seeing. She had such a great basketball IQ for that. West Virginia's guards are going to have to replace that kind of action, not necessarily in points, but the way that you run the offense.
Somebody's got to be that creator. And step back three, Witt, not afraid to let it fly just into the ball game. Deans in transition for West Virginia, leads the charge. Wide open Madison Smith for three. A little short.
And that's a great decision. That's a great penetrating kick by Deans, and you got to find someone that can knock that down. That's a great hustle play running down the floor by Brianna Ball.
Knocks it off Esme Martinez's legs, so West Virginia Tech holds. Initially overthrown, but Ball saves the possession. Ball out of Cincinnati, someone else that Roger Hodge is high on. He's got some size in the post. This is Mike Carey. It's a pretty deep post at a position he hasn't always traditionally been deep.
No, absolutely. That's what's funny. Right now, if I'm a guard on West Virginia's team, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to focus so much on a Blessing Ejiofor, on Kari Nyblack, on Esme Martinez inside. I would be licking my chops in the gym, getting shots up every single day, because those spot shots are going to be wide open when everyone is pinching inside. So West Virginia's guards are going to have to really work on the next 2 weeks is getting those shots up, learning how to create your own shot, because they're going to start being wide open.
Tied at 3 between West Virginia and West Virginia Tech. Crossover from Ferreira. She'll drive. She's stripped on the way in. There's Blessing Ejiofor making her presence on defense. And an offensive foul on Ferreira.
And there's so much scoring that West Virginia can do in the paint that we've seen with these bigs. But if the guards aren't hitting shots, it's so easy for the defense to sag in. If the guards aren't creating openings in the floor, it's going to be very difficult to get those posts open.
Ejiofor slipped, and she's being helped off the floor. This is not what you want to see in an exhibition. Not putting any weight on that right leg. So for West Virginia, J.J. Quinterly comes on. She's a freshman out of Norfolk, Virginia, the high school player of the year there in 2019. And we imagine West Virginia will run pretty deep tonight. Maya Morris is on the floor. Also for the first time, Jasmine Carson in there. Morris will get a touch in the post, and she'll call for the travel. Good defense from Elle Baker.
Yeah, absolutely. West Virginia Tech's defense has done a really nice job of getting up the lanes, of collapsing in the paint when they need to. And like I mentioned, the guards are able to sag down as well and help in the paint because West Virginia's guards have not done anything.
A steal for West Virginia. Deans out of the basket. A little too strong for Carson. Tipped out of bounds by Butler of West Virginia Tech. Almost a full line change for West Virginia. KK Deans the only player that stayed out. We'll see Ari Gray for the first time. Gray is a transfer from Xavier, was their leading scorer last year. She'll inbound. And West Virginia looking for some offense here halfway home in the first quarter. Only one from the field. That's a bucket from Kari Nyblack. the right wing, a look in from Deans. They dump it to the post. Morris kicks it to Quinerly. Down low, here's Gray. Wide open look for Jasmine Carson, and Carson finds the bottom of the rim.
That was West Virginia's best offensive possession. The ball went inside. You had a skip pass. You had a penetrating pitch to a wide open Jasmine Carson, and she knocks it down. She got some great minutes last season when she was able to become eligible after transferring. So Jasmine Carson could be that missing piece on the guard for a spot shot that West Virginia needs every once in a while.
Quinerly called for the foul, so 6-3 West Virginia. The big three from Jasmine Carson. For timeout on the floor, we'll take it with him. Here on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
Your women's basketball team opens their home regular season schedule against St. Francis on Thursday, November 16th, right here at the WVU Coliseum. All fans will receive gold shakers in recognition of pediatric cancer awareness. The game is also the first opportunity to pick up the 2021-22 women's basketball schedule poster. Tip off set for 7 p.m. At this time, we would like to thank our main West Virginia partners, Copay Insurance, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and Northeast Natural Energy for their continued support of Mountaineer basketball.
Six-3 West Virginia back at the WVU Coliseum, halfway home in the first quarter. Neither team shooting the ball particularly well. After a bit of a cold start early in the season, playing in front of the crowd for the first time. What do you attribute this to, Meg?
Yeah, some of that, yes. I think West Virginia Tech, they've come down and I think thrown up some shots just because I think when they see an opening, they think they need to take it. West Virginia, I'm surprised, honestly, at how slow the offense has looked. I think the guards need to get some more movement, hit the open shots. That's great defensive possession out of a timeout as they draw the shot clock violation. But I would also like to see West Virginia's bigs get involved. However, I can't blame it on them. The guards need to start pulling their weight here so that West Virginia Tech is not able just to sag in the paint.
And Mike Carey probably will run a lot of different combinations out there for West Virginia tonight, finding something that works together in whistles before Carson launched the three. We're going to call Ari Gray inside. Get a look at the new referee uniforms this year. They showed that on the screen a moment ago. It's a different look to the stripes. It's more NBA-like.
Are you still allowed to say, like, you know, stripes and this? And, like, I always thought there was, like, so many comments to call referees. I guess you can't do that anymore.
Great take for Jasmine Carson. Runs the baseline, and West Virginia opening things up a bit. But they don't get back on defense. Baker gets too far into the basket and a jump ball. And the ball goes back to West Virginia. Hey, right, all those old things used to be able to call the officials. What do you do now?
Hey, fancy shirt. What do you? I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to work on that before 2 weeks comes in. Not that I'm sitting here ever yelling at them.
You call them gray, they may think you're making an ageist reference,
Yeah.
depending on who the officials are. Well, Carson looks comfortable with the basketball early to go through Gray down low, and Morris will go to the line. We saw Carson with a nice baseline take a moment ago, and she really seems like early on she's someone who's willing to try to distribute and create opportunities for her teammates.
Yeah, she's very active, and as I mentioned, she was eligible in the second half of the season last year, so she has more experience than a lot of the players that she's with right now on the floor. So great movement, great hustle plays, and she can definitely hit the wide open three.
Georgia Tech transfer, Jasmine Carson, now at the free throw line. See the miss from Yemaya Morris. She's a Mississippi State transfer.
And that's a great possession. Although she missed the layup, to get the one-on-one inside, you got to battle down there. You have to let your bigs go to work. It's a great entry pass and allow her to get that strong drop step. Next time finish, but hey, we'll take that right now as offense woes continue for the Mountaineers.
And a steal of midcourt. There's Carson once again. Thought about the three, drives inside. Nice hook shot for Jasmine Carson.
And as I said, she's just active, and when you're active, good things are going to happen. And right now, that's kind of getting the energy going offensively, and not a better way to create a stagnant, slow offense than get it done through the defensive end, get a steal, and get down and get some layups. That usually gets you moving on offense.
Now a drive from Alanis Hill, and Hill hits one off the shelf. 7 points for Carson, by the way, leads all scores. On the other end, here's Savannah Samuel, another transfer, and Samuel goes to the hole and gets rewarded.
Great take by Samuel. Completely adjust her body in midair to get that bank off. That is extremely difficult as you see the replay. It's a straight line drive. She adjusts midair, takes the contact, which is also very difficult. A lot of players, when you take contact, completely shy away from the basket and miss the layup. She adjusts, take the contact, and was able to adjust to still bank it off the basket. Incredible take from the from the sophomore.
Injury for J.J. Quinterly coming off the floor, and Samuel finishes the three-point play on the floor. So Samuel gets to the hole, and now West Virginia timeout. We'll try to put Esme Martinez back on the floor. So 13-5, West Virginia out in front. As the injury to Quinterly will leave Mike Carey's team just a little shorthanded. We've already seen Quinterly go down. Looks like some attention maybe on her face, maybe bleeding there. And then they've already had an injury earlier in the game with Blessing Ejiofor.
Yeah, you don't want to see that, especially in an exhibition game, but you got to start getting used to these bumps and bruises, and that's going to happen early and often and continue throughout the season. But I think the key right now for the Mountaineers has been Jasmine Carson, just a complete, not to be cliche, but a complete energy and spark off the bench.
Carson again on cue. She'll kick it this time. Samuel, go back out to Carson, wide open, bam!
That's so important. When you can get inside-out action, great pass by Esme Martinez, and then knock it down. That's a beautiful play by the Mountaineers.
Martinez commits the foul at midcourt.
And I was talking about just minutes ago that West Virginia needed to find that guard that wanted to come in and do exactly what Jasmine Carson is doing right now. And right now she's saying, hey, Coach Gary, don't forget about me.
I can be that spark plug.
I can be that guard.
She comes in from Oregon State, and not just D1 experience, but she played 2 games in the NCAA tournament last year. So experience when it matters most. Floor foul on the entry pass. Looks like that's going to be on Blessing Ejiofor. Foul situation, West Virginia with 5 this quarter. West Virginia Tech with 4. Ejiofor leaves. Kari Nyablack comes back on. Brianna Ball makes a connection. Only a 52% free throw shooter in her career. Junior out of Cincinnati, averages 6.5 for Roger Hodges Ball Club. Here's the second, and she gets that to fall. So West Virginia Tech hanging in there. Only a 9-point gap between these teams late in the first.
West Virginia Tech switching to a 2-3 zone. Exactly right. Jasmine Carson has to love this right now.
They go inside and collapse on Nyblack, who's fouled. And I think this is West Virginia Tech again trying to react to the fact that Carson's red hot, but also there's some size they got to defend inside.
Oh, absolutely. I think the size is probably majority of the issue. But again, you forced a team that plays majority man-to-man. We know Coach Haas has a specific defensive system that he wants to run. That's exactly what he told us, and he wants the girls to buy in. But West Virginia played their way out of it through Jasmine Carson, and that's exactly what they needed to do.
Nyblack gets the first half, and West Virginia keeps possession. Yeah, it was interesting to hear him talk about, it seems like he wants to run a more complex defensive system than what they had been running before.
Yeah, and he said, we'll get there. We're not going to get there in a few weeks. We'll see how it looks January, February. But you got to have these players buy in. And a new coach in a couple months, he said he loves the competitiveness. This team has had a lot of success.
But the steal for Carson after missing the three. Almost lost the handle of the dribble and throws it away. Justice ahead. This is Alanis Hill pull-up jumper. And Hill can't get that to fall. But there's Carson again for the rebound for West Virginia. Lob inside. Martinez with the finish.
Jasmine Carson saying, thank you, Esmery, because that pass was a little bit dangerous that deep in the paint with two girls on Esmery, but great hands. And Esmery is so confident around the basket. She always is under control and always knows where her body is. To catch that pass and go up and score, it's very difficult.
Lob from Hill into a double team. West Virginia touched it last. No, I think you're right about Carson, though. I think that as she comes out, the statement she's making is, Coach, I can be that guard. I think she very much is showing that she wants it right now.
She is, and whether it's a starting position as the guard or I'm the first guard off the bench, she's showing I can take it inside. I'm going to play defense for you first and foremost, and I'm going to hit the open shots.
Tip by Nyblack, but not able to run it down. There's some players that they perform well off the bench, and sometimes when you insert them to the starting lineup, it just doesn't work.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, and if that's her role, you can tell she's the type of player that's going to accept that, come off and not miss a beat, and that's exactly what you need from a sixth player.
Shot clock runs out on Shanatine Butler. West Virginia gets it back late first quarter. What impresses you the most about the Mountaineers early on?
Honestly, how many players he's been able to shift in and out. And I think that Coach Gary right now is starting to find who's playing hard, who's working well together, because it is a different dynamic. He has three bigs on it at one time right now, more guard-oriented, but I think what's interesting is he can go deep into the bench, and that's something that he hasn't been able to do very much in the past.
Three from Brittany Justice. Averaged 15 points a game last year, was their leading scorer. That's exactly who West Virginia Tech wants to get going in this one. Final minute of the first quarter, West Virginia leads West Virginia Tech 19-10. Madison Smith drives, stops. Wide open look for KK Deans. A little strong.
And really, West Virginia's defense has been impressive. They've been long, they've been after it, they've gotten a few steals. I think they've done an incredible job as well in the effort and rebounding areas.
They've definitely been aggressive between the circles. See Deans try to poke a number of times here on Justice, and she's not able to take it away. Now they do get the steal. Deans in traffic, fumbles away, and that's the end of the first quarter. Could not get it to Madison Smith for a shot. After one, West Virginia leads by 9 on Big 12 Now on ESPN.
Yeah, is that like some trick? It's certainly not a treat.
I wish I had a rim shot for you right here.
I mean, 10 turnovers in the first quarter. That's a little disheartening, but 13 bench points by West Virginia. I mean, that's going to say some things to Coach Gary from what he's seeing and trying to find out different combinations for sure. As you saw, Jasmine Carson 10 points early in that first quarter.
Jayla Hemingway back in, launched and missed the three. West Virginia Tech starting to run into that size of West Virginia. On the last trip, you saw Alyssa Taylor spin right in to Kari Nyblack. On a tie-up, and West Virginia gets it back. And West Virginia Tech, you have to like how they're trying to go to the basket, but not a lot you can do with the size mismatch.
No, and West Virginia, they play such great help defense. Someone is always going to be there. You know, they play the defense high side. They play the defense in front for a reason because they know that help is back there. So you got to rely on your defense at times, and West Virginia does a great job at that.
Blessing Ejiofor back on for West Virginia. That bench for West Virginia, 13 points in the early going. Good lob in. There's a touch for Ejiofor. Leaves it short. Gets it back. Tenacity for a third try. No, it's tipped out of bounds. Foul on that. Emily Witt picks up the foul. See KK Dean shoot from not far from out there. The three-point line is moved back to the previous men's distance. It's an offensive foul on West Virginia in this possession. And when you played, how big of a difference was it that the three-point line was touching up against the top of the key, and now it's back to what used to be just the men's distance. Now it's everyone's distance.
Yeah, you know what? And I feel like today's players, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, to be honest with you, than when I played. So it's probably not that much of a difference. And we all probably caught and popped from that area anyways. But it's probably going to take some getting used to, though, to be honest with you.
Taylor will drive the baseline. Floater a little strong. Hemingway tries to run transition. She does not have numbers. There's a three, and she knocks it home. Madison Smith. How about stepping into one right there for Smith? Well, she wasn't afraid to try that new distance.
And that's great for her because as a point guard, she's not going to typically look to score all the time, but if she can just knock down those shots, great help defense again by Madison Smith.
Carson inside, Ejiofor a look. And she'll go to the line. Oh no, they're going to call an offensive foul. So another on Blessing Ejiofor. Ironically, she stands with her hands on hips, and that's the call she wanted.
Right. Didn't see it again, but I'm assuming that the position was outside the circle. But Blessing, as a forward, she really runs the floor extremely well. Although that was called an offensive foul, watching her kind of run like a gazelle down the floor, able to catch and go right up with it, that's something that really benefits the Mountaineers in transition.
Shanatine Butler with a handoff outside, and an offensive foul on Butler. Two team fouls apiece. West Virginia holds the lead. All the starting five on the floor with the exception of Jasmine Carson. She's on for the Mountaineers. She'll get a touch from the left wing, lobs the three off the iron. Martinez grabs the rebound. Martinez's role on this team is something to be determined still with all the bigs inside. Mike Carey thinks maybe he can move her out to a guard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they can do. I think, as I mentioned before, I think she is such a dynamic post. And with talking with Coach Carey, he said, you know what, I mean, she's a unanimous first selection, first team Big 12 as a 4 for a reason. Am I crazy for trying to bring her out there? Maybe, I need to keep her where she can do the most damage. And I think inside is where she can do the most damage. She has such a great knack for where the ball comes off on offensive rebounds, on defensive rebounds. As we saw her earlier in transition, she can catch the ball and position her body to finish in very difficult situations. So I love her around the basket. Now, she can come out and hit the 10-footer occasionally, but I love her around the basket.
Elle Baker picks up the offensive foul for West Virginia Tech, so she comes off the floor. And now their depth will be tested a little bit. They've not run as deep as West Virginia. Drive for Madison Smith, floater, and she'll go to the line. The foul this time on Emily Hutchinson of Huntington. Well, check that. That's going to be Witt picking up another one. So her second foul. Maya Morris back on for West Virginia to replace Esme Martinez. Madison Smith leads this team. 77 starts, one of the 3 captains on the squad. Knocks down the free throw. And one of their better free throw shooters last year at 79%. One of those things that you always want out of point guards, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency. Always going to be in the games. Hits down the shots when you need her. Never going to do anything out of control.
Brittany Justice on the floor again for West Virginia Tech. A steal for the Mountaineers. Deans will go to the line. And that one is on Emily Hutchinson. I was like, even from, we're at a higher position than court side, but you can hear the things the officials say here. That's my shooter right there.
Oh, yeah.
Deans will launch. It's off the back iron.
And that's where you see, sorry, Eric, that's where you see the quickness of the Mountaineers. You know, KK Dean takes one step and already it's a foul. I mean, that's just the difference kind of in where they are and where they play and the difference of speed and physicality.
With a make, West Virginia 6 of 10 from the free throw line. Mountaineers up 16 early on. Now steals the ball thrown away by West Virginia Tech. Inside out game and a look for Yamaya Morris. And Morris connects. They can play that high-low game, Meg. That's what you have with those posts.
Absolutely, and you love to see that. You've seen a couple of those. I saw Esmery into Ejiofor, Nyblack into Morris. I mean, those are some great entry passes. They're just completely sealing inside, one-on-one. And you saw that they positioned to the middle. That way they catch the ball. They're going right into their layup around the block. It's perfect timing and great passing.
How much of that is going to transition into the size of the Big 12?
Well, that's what'll be interesting. And right on cue, Nyblack creates where they can have those one-on-one instances because you're going to have to come out and hit and defend Nyblack when she can hit that 10-foot jumper. She can also put it on the floor and take it to the rack. So there are going to be those one-on-one scenarios. But again, the strength and size of the Big 12, Mountaineers are going to have to match that inside.
Morris fouled after she has it knocked loose. Hey, you're right. That's a matchup nightmare to try to defend Kari Nyblack, who can step out and make that shot. When your bigs can step out and shoot like that, it makes you dangerous.
Absolutely, and I think they have that great duo between Nyblack and Martinez, and then you look inside at real true power forwards, you know, your original 5 players with Morris and Ejiofor. If they can get them sealing inside one-on-one and get that ball into them, that is an incredible 1-2 punch inside.
Brianna Ball leaves. Eugenia Marcelli comes on for West Virginia Tech as Roger Hodge goes a little deeper into his bench. Miss here from Morris. A number of folks from West Virginia Tech came up for this game from the Beckley area. This school moved from Montgomery to Beckley in recent years. Now a steal from Deans. Wide open Jasmine Carson, trick or treat. She gets a full-size candy bar. And a timeout for Roger Hodge and West Virginia Tech. Handing out the good stuff at Haunted Hoops.
And that's a great unselfish play from KK Dean. She could have probably taken it in herself, drawn a foul, but recognizes the open player.
Timeout on the floor will take it with them. 33-9, West Virginia up. 6:08 to go in the second on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. Back to action at the Coliseum. West Virginia up 33-9, nearly to the halfway point of the second quarter. With our entire Big 12 Now and ESPN Plus crew, Eric Little, Meg Bulger, the Haunted Hoops exhibition. West Virginia Tech will inbound. They've gone deeper into their bench in recent minutes than what we've seen most of the night. Look for Alanis Hill and an offensive foul on Hill. Nyblack shuffling all over the place on the floor.
That will be her first of many that she will take this season. Probably excited to start the new year off with one.
She got some distance on that slide. Most impressive that they make sure the spot is squeegeed off the floor. I think a good 5 feet of carry there. Look inside from KK Deans. Wide open Jasmine Carson. Why do you leave her open? Because she's done that all night long.
And you gotta love it. Yamaya Morris inside. She drew the double team. Corner help defense is not there. You get the skip pass to Carson, and she knocks it down. That is textbook.
36-9. West Virginia slowly but surely growing this lead, forcing West Virginia Tech into mistakes, Meg.
Yeah, absolutely. And it took a little bit of time for West Virginia to kind of find that energy, find those combos, and knock some shots down. But I think their defense really has accelerated them to that. And you have to give a lot of credit, of course, I believe, to Jasmine Carson off the bench.
Marcelli swatted out of bounds. West Virginia brings Ari Gray back on the floor. Give credit to West Virginia Tech for continuing to try to drive inside. In the River States Conference, I think you're going to get that to go a lot of nights. You're not going to have to deal with this size mismatch. And there's a steal created by size there. In transition, here's Madison Smith under the basket. Right underneath to Yamaya Morris.
Yeah, and you got to love to see your five running the floor, your point guard just lob it up, easy left, and knock it down.
Nowhere for Marcelli to go. Finally get some help from Melissa Taylor. Shot clock an issue. One forced up from Alanis Hill. It doesn't fall. And Gray with the rebound. No look lob. There's Carson.
And that's a one-on-one matchup. You got to go inside. Yamaya needs to have about 12 points real quick right now.
Wide open Yamaya Morris.
West Virginia Tech, really no size on the floor right now that can contend with that.
On the other end, Justice will try and miss the three left to short. West Virginia will run a little bit here. Wide open, here's Madison Smith. Little short, but West Virginia gets it back. Gray doesn't get it to go. Second effort, no good. And the third time's a charm for Ari Gray.
Great second effort from Ari Gray. I know the coaching staff is very high on her. Very tough inside. It's great build for that. Goes up, gets her a rebound, back again, gets to the line. And she's one of those players that is going to slowly start to learn minutes as she starts to understand the offense, get what Coach Carey is expecting out of her on the floor and her role each time.
She was Xavier's leading scorer last year, 13 points a game. Can't finish the three-point play. 49 lead West Virginia. Inside 4 to play, and now Gray gets it right back. Turnaround look. She can't finish.
But she's somebody, I believe, in January, February, when it's Big 12 time, that she will start making a huge impact, I think, for the Mountaineers.
Isis Bay is in for the first time, and ahead of her, Deans gets the steal. Tries to force one into Quinerly. Good to see Quinerly back on the floor. She left earlier with a cut on the face. Yeah, I think so much of the early season for West Virginia, Meg, is going to be about which of these transfers and newcomers can be plugged in and where.
Absolutely, and I think that's what you're going to see in all of the non-conference games is completely different combinations. What players play well together, what players are getting used to this system. You know, it's a lot. It's very difficult to just pinpoint right now who's going to be the starting five, who comes off the bench. It's going to be a matter of who plays well together and finding that chemistry.
West Virginia gets the steal, not able to finish. West Virginia Tech looking to get out of single digits. Out front for Marcelli. Floater in the paint, and they do get into double figures, 40-11, and a timeout West Virginia. 3:05 left in the first half. No, you're right. That's pretty much the theme of the non-conference season, I think, in college basketball, and especially in this landscape now where the transfer portal's open and the rules have loosened up a bit, and so many more players can come and go, and you can almost reload your roster every year.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's taken me a while to figure out whether I like the transfer portal or I don't, but regardless, it's here and it's here to stay, and if it works for you, of course you're going to like it. So right now, West Virginia, I think this is the first year that they've really had some fifth years that have come over, and we'll see how they can contribute. Right now, I think you're seeing signs of life from, Ari Gray for sure. She's coming in and contributing. It's just going to take a minute. They're used to 4 years of another school with another coach, other players. So to come in, it's almost like being a freshman again. So it's going to take some growing pains, maybe the first month in non-conference to really start getting acclimated and adjusted to the system, your teammates, your coach, and then they're basketball players. So then they'll just go play basketball.
It's a shame nobody went as the transfer portal for Haunted Hoops tonight. I mean, that would have been a fun costume. Dry for Quinterly. Dean's wide open in the corner, and Dean's left it short. And a jump ball. The arrow favors West Virginia Tech. I don't know what you'd be if you were the transfer portal. Maybe wear a halo and put a shower curtain around it. It's closed, now it's open. I've entered the transfer portal. I'm out of the transfer portal.
That's great.
That's a free idea for the folks at home. Meanwhile, West Virginia Tech trying to go inside. Smaller lineup for West Virginia from what they've had on the floor. But then again, it's easy to say when, Kari Nyblack is not on the floor at this point. We'll see Isis Bay in the paint, being the main player to kind of create space down there. Nice give and go. Justice had to run down a loose ball. Nasty collision, and the shot clock runs out. That looked like it could have been really bad between Jasmine Carson. I believe that was Butler. Carson's got 16 for West Virginia. Nice look in for Martinez, and she can't hang on. But it's stripped loose.
And she knows. You saw her right away kind of wipe her hands. She knew immediately that that's the pass she needs to catch. She had her sealed. She was going to go up, but just dropped it a little bit.
West Virginia Tech gets it back. There's a look ahead for Tech, and Chelsea Little dishes enough to elicit Taylor, and Taylor will go to the line. Martinez picks up the foul. That's her third. In a game like this where you're not going to be playing 4 quarters, are you as worried about saving fouls?
No, you really aren't. But at the same time, you're not playing for right now. You're playing for the future games. So you have to kind of adapt yourself to how should I have played that defensively. And Esmery needed to be one more step for that block. She got her with her body completely. So you need to just start preparing for your other games and not just tonight.
Not so much the opponents on the floor, as that one's a little too tall for Deans. And West Virginia Tech will get it back. But those opponents in the Big 12, when you're going to be going up against more size, more strength, more speed.
Absolutely. And Coach Carey's not looking to win by X amount of points and be excited about it. He's looking for execution. He's looking at, the lack of turnovers right there, sloppy passing. Are you in the right position defensively? He's looking at all those little things that right now the players are saying, we're up by this, why does it matter? Well, it'll matter when you're watching film and then you start to really digest, oh, I see what he's saying. I wasn't in help. Or I see what he's saying. That pass was completely insane right there.
Moving
Yes, that's a completely moving pick.
Moving screen for
Right.
Isis Bay, and she'll pick up the offensive foul. These exhibition games are always a tricky thing. West Virginia's won the last two against an NAI team, so you're trying to get yourself ready for the season. But again, this is one of those things where it might wind up on the bottom line of ESPN if you don't come away with a win. So it's an odd pressure, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be that team that they're talking about, that's for sure. And you know that the coach is never going to be happy, and you just have to accept that and accept that you're building, you're learning to execute, you're working on different things, you're getting different players in there. It's a great run for what you're going to see in the future.
Miss hit off of Hutchinson, so West Virginia gets it back. Up 30 late in the second quarter. How do you want to see the Mountaineers finish this half?
Just solid, not taking quick shots, working it inside, being smart with the basketball, no turnovers, and being clean on the defensive end.
I like the aggressiveness from Martinez with the take.
Foul on West Virginia. Number 22, Blessing Ejiofor.
The Blessing Ejiofor picks up another foul away from the play.
At the line,
There'll be 3 on her.
Emily Witt shooting 2.
Witt will shoot a pair for West Virginia Tech, and Ejiofor comes off. Nyblack back on for West Virginia. I don't think it's about hitting a certain number either if you're West Virginia. I think it's just about the kind of looks that you get and just how you affect them on defense.
No, that's exactly right. Coach Carey's not looking for these. He's looking for the best shot. How did we work through that play? Did we execute? Did we make the extra pass? Did we make the smart pass? That's a smart play right there. Jasmine knew. She could probably have taken that or taken the shot. Set it back up. Let's run through this play and get a good or better shot and execute.
Good discipline for someone that's stroking particularly hot tonight, too. She'll get it back. Can't pass this one up. Carson, a little strong. Nia Black creates the opportunity with a rebound and a foul inside.
Foul on Virginia Tech. Number 25,
And it'll be Emily Hutchinson picking up her second.
And in Hutchinson's defense, KK Deans, when she goes to the basket, she has such a long first step. When she goes, that is very difficult to defend, and she draws a foul. The last couple of times I've seen her drive to the basket, she's drawn a foul. That's just a very difficult first step to defend.
KK Deans will come to the line for West Virginia. And we'll see a lot more substituting here from WVU Tech. It seems like they were very slow to go to the bench, but now they're starting to work that lineup a little deeper.
Yeah, West Virginia threw that press on, and the energy kind of just was sucked from West Virginia Tech a bit, going the full length of the floor every single time with that West Virginia pressure. That'll wear you down quick.
Deans knocks down the free throw. I feel like West Virginia Tech really hasn't been able to settle into their offense. This is a team that can shoot the three, 21st nationally in three-point shooting percentage, so they're comfortable beyond the arc.
Oh, absolutely. Won their conference last year. This is a great West Virginia Tech team, great shooters, great scorers. One has the ball right now. But again, West Virginia's their defense has been tenacious. They're aggressive, they're long, they're athletic, and it's forcing Tech to take very quick shots that they probably normally would not take.
Justice has it stolen. KK Deans on the left wing. Good pick from Martinez. Going underneath for Nyblack, and Nyblack finishes at the rim. Yeah, one of their better three-point shooters to get back to West Virginia Tech is Whitney Justice. We've not seen her on the floor tonight. 7th in three-point percentage nationally at the NAIA level last year. We were worried we'd have mix-up problems with the Brittany Whitney thing. They're twins, their names rhyme. The steal there is Brittany has her pocket picked. Smith feeds it to Deans at the buzzer, and Deans gets the finish for West Virginia. How about that to finish the first half, Meg? What's on tape doesn't lie, and I think that's one of the things that these players are going to have to realize in an exhibition like this. You're putting stuff on film for the coaches to see. There's a steal right off the bat. Leonore Ferreira takes it the other way. A nice spin move for Ferreira, and she'll go to the line. But again, what's on tape doesn't lie. You can always say the effort's there, but if you're not showing it, don't tell me, show me.
I learned that very quick in college. I remember probably rolling my eyes or, obviously not in front of the coaches, but thinking, I'm playing hard, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You get in film the next day, you go, oh boy, please run faster, please run faster. It's like, you're not, I mean, it's very real and it's facts there. You can't change what you're seeing.
Your memory of the event was a little different.
Oh yeah, I'm like, that's not what nope, yep, that's exactly what it was. That is not what I thought.
Ferreira turns the opportunity into points, and West Virginia Tech on the board. Yeah, what would an eye roll get for Mike Carey?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't even do it now when I'm 36. Never.
Some situations, and some folks. The whistle away from the ball. Some pushing and shoving, and Alanis Hill whistled with a foul.
I like that though. Alanis Hill was tough in there. Obviously you're playing against a bigger, stronger, more physical player, but she held her own in there as best as she could, and I respect that effort given inside.
Look for West Virginia. KK Deans trying to find something inside. This little space off a pick. And an offensive foul away from the basket. A very demonstrative motion from our official tonight. Esmarie Martinez picks up the foul.
Yeah, she gave the push. When you see that elbow extend, you're going to get that called every single time.
West Virginia Tech has the only points of the half early on. Butler calls out the offense for the Golden Bears. Defense collapses on her. West Virginia Tech fumbles it right back to Butler. And Butler knocks home the mid-range.
Nice possession from Butler. Really handled the pressure of West Virginia well, drove the lane, able to get the pass off, relocates, and knocks it down.
West Virginia running the starting five from the first half as Jayla Hemingway can't get it to fall at the hole. Martinez with the rebound, and she'll get harmed and to go to the line.
And that's vintage Esmarie Martinez right there. Always in correct position under the basket for the rebound. Like I said, adjusts her body and footwork. Honestly, like nobody I've seen in the Big 12 last year or before. Always in position, always under control, always adjusts her body to go right off the glass, draw the foul, and get to the line.
Meg, I'm not sure we've seen the starting five for West Virginia on the floor since maybe the first few minutes of the game. This might be only the second time all night this five has played together.
Yeah, I don't think in the first few minutes they really got anything going. You see a little bit more energy here from this five early on, which is exactly what Coach Carey wanted to see. Just didn't see it at the beginning of that game, but they certainly are bringing it here to start the third quarter.
A double dribble gives it back to West Virginia. And it's got to be tough to kind of be the warm-up for the whole thing. First game action of the season with people here. It's an exhibition, but still, you saw really a cold start for both sides.
Yeah, there's going to be nerves no matter how many times you've done this or come out in front of fans. It's exciting. You're going against somebody else other than your teammate. There's fans here, as you mentioned. They're announcing everyone. There's a big lead up and a big production. Then all of a sudden it's, ooh, wait. Tip off, here it is.
Yeah, every player ran the carpet at the beginning of the game. That's not usually done. Usually that's just the starting five.
Yeah, so you're in a different mentality. You're getting there, and as much as you want to say, okay, season starts today, okay, it's an exhibition, but no, I'm taking it to, there's a lot that's going on there mentally, and it just took, a few minutes for everyone to get warmed up.
Elle Baker picks up the foul. Eugenia Marcelli out of Italy will come back on once again for West Virginia Tech. And the free throw falls for Esmarie Martinez. And another thing we haven't touched on, I don't imagine West Virginia Tech, other than their home games maybe, has to play in a lot of gyms with this big of a backdrop behind the basket.
And that's a huge difference for depth perception and the way you're shooting. Granted, they haven't had a lot of clear open looks tonight, but even when you do, you've seen some miscues, and early on we saw a bank shot. The depth perception is very difficult.
Jayla Hemingway picks up the foul. Hey, they play their home games in what's technically called the Beckley Convention Center, but it'll always be the Raleigh County Armory to me. One of those people that I'm always going to stick to that name. Did you ever play in that building?
No, I never did. I never did.
You made it down that way for exhibitions. I know they try to move those around.
Yeah, it didn't come down there.
A steal for West Virginia. Deans no-look dish to the corner. Well, Smith almost popped. Steps inside, mid-range, a little short. West Virginia gets a nice board from Kari Nyblack. Hemingway drives and has it stripped. Good no call.
Yeah, I like the no call there. KK Deans, I thought, got away with one. She was a little bit out of control, but I also thought that Hill was kind of not under control enough to take a charge as well.
Meanwhile, Brittany Justice cashes in on the 2-on-1.
I'm sorry, that was Butler, excuse me.
West Virginia Tech is coming out strong as well in this second half. Good take as Hemingway turns the corner and scores. First from the field tonight. She had the first point of the night on a free throw and hasn't scored since until just now. The intensity we're seeing is different from West Virginia Tech in this second half. Justice slings it to Ferreira and she misses off the iron. You give credit to West Virginia Tech. You can read the scoreboard, and even though it's an exhibition, it's got to be hard to fire yourself up coming out at the half when this is what things look like in the second half.
Absolutely, and Coach Hodge understood this. When we spoke to him, he's not coaching to come out here and X and O West Virginia and try to make a comeback this and that. He's working on things right now with his system, what he wants to do, the execution he wants to see from his players. And this team, he's not going to question their competitiveness and their fight because that's been on display all night. It's just been a matter of size, strength, athleticism. Just the difference in that, you can't really coach that.
Deans fouls Justice on the leaner attempt. I know it's around Halloween, but really you've got Roger Hodge and Mike Carey. They're both in the lab, maybe mad scientists, creating Frankensteins on the floor here.
That's exactly
on both
right.
sides.
Yeah, and sometimes you want to take two players and say, well, I want your ability to do this with yours to combine. Oh, wait, I can't do that.
Sticking with a seasonally appropriate theme. Justice knocks down the free throw. 84% shoot in her career.
And she's got to appreciate right now having a moment to breathe and have an open shot because she has not had too many shot opportunities this evening.
And this is a cool opportunity, too, for these West Virginia Tech players to come up and play a school like West Virginia, to come up and play in this building.
Oh, absolutely. The Coliseum is famous not only just in West Virginia, but, around the country. Some incredible players have come in here and played some incredible games. A lot of these girls from West Virginia.
Handoff from Carson. Savannah Samuel gives it right back to her. Looking for space underneath. Shot clock winding down. Carson pops and nails the three. Why question yourself when you're as hot as Jasmine Carson?
Nope, and she read that perfectly. I really love how she just played that. The defense went underneath the pick. Completely blindsided from Esmari Martinez. Did not go over. You got to go over on a three-point shooter, hun. You can't go behind it, but Jasmine read that perfectly, and you have to take that shot.
Alyssa Taylor fouled on her way in. Martinez picks up another. That's her fourth foul. So one way or the other, we're not going to see Martinez much longer in this exhibition. Yeah, this is, to go back to what you were saying about the Coliseum, this is only, I just called it the Coliseum. Like, how many other venues are just the fill in the blank?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yankee Stadium comes to mind. That's about it.
Right, exactly.
Of course, in Los Angeles, USC fans might have a different definition of the Coliseum.
No, we win. We win.
I agree.
West Virginia wins.
Mountaineers up 59-23, halfway home in the third quarter. A foul inside. I kind of like in an exhibition that this has been a bit of a tight whistle, Meg.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't teach bad habits. You can't think that you're going to get away with certain things. You keep it clean, not get out of control.
Yeah, it's not been an overbearing whistle, but it's been very fair.
You tend to get sloppy in certain areas in a game like this, and I think that you're keeping it clean and keeping these players honest, not to get out of control.
Rare miss from Carson, and Ejiofor with a putback.
Great footwork around the basket to get back underneath the hoop and position yourself.
Ejiofor's been in so much foul trouble tonight, and then there was a period where she left with an ankle injury. We've not really seen her get to do what she does best.
Yeah, right there. It did not look like her ankle was bothering her.
Smith steals it loose, but West Virginia Tech holds on and miss under the basket from Justice. Hemingway weaves through the traffic. A wide open look for three. Samuel leaves that one strong. Back in transition, Butler works her way through. A little wide. I think both of these teams look like they could use a timeout right about now, and we're about to get one.
Yeah, a lot of up and down with no whistles.
All of a sudden, both teams look just a little bit gassed, a little less than crisp.
That's the thing. You can go and practice every single day. You can go against your team and have scrimmages, but until you get in that live game experience, okay, Jasmine Carson, have a
Carson
night.
feeling herself this evening on Haunted Hoops. 22 points for Jasmine Carson, the Georgia Tech transfer. And a whistle will bring us to that media timeout. 4:19 left in the third. West Virginia 64, West Virginia Tech 3, and Jasmine Carson staying hot and feeling herself here on Haunted Hoops for the Coliseum. Out of the timeout, West Virginia holds a 64-23 lead on West Virginia Tech. Our entire Big 12 Now and ESPN Plus crew here. Chris Osteen, the producer tonight. Eva Buckman, our director. Eric Little, Meg Bulger on the call this evening. The defense for West Virginia finished strong in that last portion right before the media timeout. West Virginia Tech looked from Chelsea Little back in the game. Kayla Hemingway providing some good defense. And a foul inside. A little too aggressive perhaps for Savannah Samuel. She'll draw the whistle.
Foul on West Virginia. Number 24, Savannah Samuel. Her first. Foul players are
Samuel out of Woodstock, Georgia.
10, Brittany Justice.
And Georgia's going to be Sports Central this weekend. Free throw here from Brittany Justice falls. They got Georgia, Florida in Jacksonville. I believe the Hawks are home. The MLS team's at home. And you got the Braves playing Game 4 of the World Series Saturday. Miss on the free throw. That's a lot going on in one town, in one metro area.
See, I need to head down there.
Man, that's a good time. Hemingway looking inside. Drive for Hemingway. Lost the handle on it. Gets it back. Go back to Carson. New combination on the floor here, Megan. Now the shot clock's running down. Quinterly going to have to put one up. Rebound Ejiofor. There's 3 players on the floor. West Virginia doesn't see it. Now there's one. Butler staying down. Drive in a block call. Hemingway gets the bucket to go. Took a really long time for Butler to get back off the floor. If you're West Virginia, you see 3 players down on the floor and you're dribbling away from the basket. That's not ideal.
No, and you know, if Butler, if she was reaching for her back, something was definitely went hard to the floor, that's for sure. She struggled getting up.
She'll come off the floor now as Jayla Hemingway to the line to try to finish the 3-point play. Plays Plinko and stays out. In transition for Brittany Justice, and she's called with steps. And the frustration starting to show a little bit, because I know even though you want to get better, and though you want the test if you're West Virginia Tech, there comes a point where you've had enough.
Yeah, and honestly, that's probably a move and a take that she is going to do a million times this season. But against a West Virginia team, when you get that deep in the paint, you got to know what you're doing. You can't pick up your dribble. You don't have anyone to ditch it out to, and it becomes a turnover, just as you saw.
Good spin move from Ari Gray inside. And if they can get that from Gray off the bench, Meg, I think that's going to be a welcome addition to this rotation.
Yeah, that clearly showed to me why the coaches are so high on Ari. That footwork, the spin, that was so clean and so quick.
Quinterly can't finish the steal. West Virginia Tech holds possession. And we get a whistle. The shot clock didn't reset. So they'll take care of that. And a foul away from the play is Winter Rogers in the game for the first time for West Virginia, and quickly picks up the foul. Rogers, a 3-time USA Today Arkansas All-State player in high school for Little Rock Christian Academy. Michaela Jones missed the free throws. The Mountaineers and Golden Bears both over the limit with 5 team fouls this quarter. Free throws the rest of the way. And Jones misses both.
And with this lineup on the floor for West Virginia, you're going to just want to see clean.
Rogers with her first shot of the night, and it's a little strong.
That's all right. Hey, she was open. You had an inside out. She's got to take that shot, get her comfortable. Great way to hustle back on defense. Get her acclimated.
We'll pull the cord. This is her first collegiate action. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
a true freshman coming in.
Right. Yeah, these are great minutes for a player like Winter Rogers. And right now you got all the newcomers on the floor.
Gianna Cunningham is on
except for Cunningham.
Yeah, Cunningham's on for the first time.
But this is just, you want to see execution. You want to see defensive principles. You know, help side. On ball pressure on the offensive end. Keep it clean. Don't do anything crazy. Execute.
There's a drive from Chelsea Little, a little wide. Good outlet ahead from Rogers. And Savannah Samuel go to the line.
Tell you what, I heard that block up here, and I get it. You know, more athletic, taller, I understand that, but to position your body perfectly to touch nothing but the basketball, I mean, she goes up clean and just knocks it out of there perfectly.
That's a good block there for Gray on the defensive end. You just saw in the replay. Samuel hits the freebie.
And just great timing. And give credit to Savannah running the floor again. She gets to the hoop strong. She can take a hit. I really like the way she reacts and is aggressive around the basket.
West Virginia's lead now 70-24. Final 2 minutes in the third quarter. I don't imagine we'll see a lot of the starting 5 for the rest of the night, if at all. What impressed you the most about West Virginia's top 5? And even throw Jasmine Carson in there as well.
You know, as the game went on, Their defense is what stood out. I can't really say right now that the offense was glowing to me. I thought defensively, great
Good move inside from Ari Gray, and Gray finishes at the basket.
I mean, splitting two defenders, perfect footwork. She makes a move. She makes a move quick. You can see that immediately.
A steal for Rogers. We're a little higher than normal tonight, so from up here, we can only see the top of Gray's glasses. They look like those LeVar Burton Star Trek glasses, honestly, you know?
I was thinking that. I actually was thinking that earlier, but
Gray will dump it underneath the basket. Gianna Cunningham with a finish. You were thinking that earlier, but you're like, is that too dorky a reference to throw to the broadcast?
I was just going to tell you after, probably.
Oh, I know no shame, Meg.
Man, Ari Gray is trying to have a night.
That's what you want to see out of an exhibition, I would imagine. You want to see people try to prove that they need more time on the floor.
Absolutely. And I get, okay, it's 74-24. I'm not, I'm understanding that. However, she's playing smart, clean, quick. Her head is up right there. She's not out of control making that pass. She makes a spin, goes to the basket. Everything is clean about what she's doing. There's nothing sloppy, not coming out and making mistakes. That's exactly what you want to see. Now I get a freshman coming in. You're going to see those mistakes. You're going to see some sloppiness because they have to get used to it.
It slices the first one through. Second one, it goes as well. And I think a mistake people make in games like this is they use a two-word phrase that does not apply here. It's called garbage time, and there's nothing garbage about this time. Nothing garbage about that finish for Gianna Cunningham.
And it's a great confidence builder as well. For you want to come in, you want to do well. You've worked so hard in preseason and all of your practices. Deep three.
Yeah, Whip misses that offline. But yeah, these players have worked hard. This is their chance to prove themselves. And as far as they're concerned, that score is 0-0.
Absolutely. You want to apply what you've done in practice to a game situation and prove that you're ready for that. You can step up to that challenge when they need you for however many minutes. At any situation in the game, and Coach Carey can trust you and that you won't miss a beat as a team.
Winter Rogers picks up the foul, and you hit on this earlier too, Meg. And this applies for every sport. There is no replicating game speed.
No.
This is a rare opportunity to prove yourself in a game.
Exactly. You can show things in practice constantly, but if you go in a game and you cannot apply that and execute, it's completely different. And right now, and we saw the energy level early, up and down the floor in a game. I know it sounds crazy. It is much different than up and down the floor in a practice. And the nerves are there, and your throat kind of gets that burning feeling a little bit. So these girls were just shaking that off, and right now you were seeing that with this group that's on the floor, but they're starting to get comfortable, and you can see that from their defense. You can see that out how they are performing in transition with clean passes. You see that with Ari Gray. I mean, they're starting to come together here as well, and that's going to build confidence.
This is probably a group I'd imagine that in practice goes against the starting five a lot, so they probably have that chemistry.
Exactly, and that's a great point. So they're facing those challenges every single day. Now this is their time to come out and show what they can do.
Pull-up jumper for Gray, and Ari Gray continues to have a night for West Virginia, 8 points. Closing seconds to the third quarter.
I mean, I'm here for that right now. She is showing, she can do a lot of different things, and I love it on the defensive end, hitting the 10-footer, her footwork underneath, some nifty passing interior. I'm really liking Ari Gray right now.
Good defense for West Virginia, forcing Witt to come up way short of the shot, and at the end of three, it's 78-26. West Virginia out in front of WVU Tech. It's Haunted Hoops at the Coliseum on Big 12 Now and ESPN+. Up in the Crow's Nest, Chris Osteen producing the show. Eva Buckland's our director tonight. Sorry I slaughtered your name just now, Chris, but just distracted by the stat sheet coming in my way, apparently. West Virginia Tech ball to start the half, and good block for West Virginia. Looking inside, JJ Quinterly runs the floor. Savannah Samuel, my bad. Samuel with a good finish at the bucket. We'll get a look at these after three-quarter stats in a moment. And a tie up here will be a good time to take a look at some of these numbers. Meg, what jumps off the page at you?
Well, West Virginia's done a really nice job defensively, 35 points off of turnovers. That just shows they've been energetic. They've been in passing lanes. They applied the pressure early. I think they've done a great job. Bench points, is number one, though. 48 from the bench. I think that's exactly something Coach Carey wanted to see. You had the 5 newcomers in the starting lineup. He wanted to see what can I get from a deep bench. They have a 15-girl roster right now. They need to see what they can get,
Another
not
tie-up.
just from that top 5. Excuse me.
And who exactly is it off this bench that's going to give me the valuable minutes now? And not that you're not going to get valuable minutes from all 15 at some point, but some already now, some may take a little while.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think clearly Jasmine Carson has proven her, if not creeping into that lineup eventually. I know it's just a first exhibition game. You need to be a little bit more consistent, but she has shown that she has earned minutes. There is no doubt about that. I thought Blessing Ejiofor, of course, has come off the bench. I thought Yamaya Morris has done really well, and just here in that last third quarter, I think Ari Gray is starting to knock at that door as well.
It's one thing to look at these girls in practice, as you were saying, and think you know what they've got, but until you see them in game speed and game trim, you never really know for sure. A nice steal from Quinterly. Ahead to Gray. Gray will cruise in for the easy layup. Good tip for West Virginia. Affected by Savannah Samuel. A shot for Rogers, and she's strong. Gray scoops it up. Samuel with a look, steps back. She knew where the line was, and she stepped behind it and buries the 3.
And you know what's funny? Samuels was somebody I was going to mention because she has quietly come in here and done some really solid things. She wasn't someone that's going to come out and wow you, but she has not done things that are going to hurt you. She's just come out and been very not surprisingly, but enjoyably tough. I think she's hung around the basket nice. She's a player that I think you might mention her name here in non-conference. I think she's earned some minutes as well.
Steal from Ari Gray at the top of the key. There's Gray once again, can't finish that. Went under the basket a little too far and got a bounce against Gray.
And I already knew when she went up with the one hand, you have that defensive pressure. You hear them coming. You're not as alone as you were that last transition. You just have to go and secure that 2 points. Get your other hand on there, go up strong and secure it. You don't want to try to get fancy. She's played too well to get fancy right there.
I think a nice move here by Mike Carey to take Gray off the floor for just a moment here. Jayla Hemingway comes back on. Off balance floater goes for Alanis Hill. I think just let Gray kind of sit there for a moment and chill. Maybe bring her back in a couple minutes.
Yeah, I think Coach Carey has seen exactly what he wanted to get out of Ari Gray there in the third quarter. And just from talking with the coaching staff earlier, you kind of got that feeling that they see something in her. It's just kind of, we're waiting to get this out. We're waiting to see this. She needs to learn this. And I think that they were very happy to see the minutes that she just gave, because I think that's something that they knew about her all along.
Gianna Cunningham leaves. Yamaya Morris back on the floor. We're starting to see some of these players that were maybe the first line out creep back in. Jasmine Carson's on the floor again. Here's Samuel at the free throw line. Now it doesn't fall. We were talking about the points in transition, points from the turnovers. West Virginia Tech, after 3 quarters, 32 turnovers, but it really isn't like these were unforced errors. This was West Virginia's defense creating those turnovers.
Absolutely. West Virginia applied that pressure early. The guards did a great job. I mentioned KK Deans had 6 steals in the first half there. She was all over the ball. Madison Smith does a great job defensively. That was what's impressed me most, is the consistency in their defense. That was there the entire game. The offense came along as things happened, but the defense was there, I thought, from the beginning.
Hemingway trying to motion the offense around, and she'll take it herself. It's not there. Good putback for Yamaya Morris.
Great footwork, under control.
A lot going on in transition. A dump under the basket, and Elle Baker picks up the foul. She's been on the bench a long time with 3 fouls. And again, this is Roger Hodge wanting to look at some of his players in different situations too. You put them in against West Virginia's second, and maybe in some cases second and a half or third team, and you build some confidence for some of these newcomers.
Yeah, absolutely. You get out in transition once, you get a steal. You're seeing things differently. You're going up. You go up strong, as Baker did just there. You draw a foul and you get to the free throw line. Those are all confidence builders. Certainly you want to make those free throws, but just going up strong against a more physical team is certainly going to build confidence. When they go into their conference play, they're going to be stronger at that moment.
And Baker came from Brown through Coastal Georgia, where Hodge was prior to coming to West Virginia Tech. She followed him there. Good look inside for Yamaya Morris. And Morris is having a nice fourth quarter. It seems like we could almost give an MVP per quarter in this game, Megan. She's making her claim for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's very true. We wanted to see a lot of these posts get some work inside, and I really like her footwork, her positioning. When she turns to the basket, she's squared up. She finishes nice.
Numbers for West Virginia, and Hemingway gets out in front of the pack. Meg, when we were in school, when you hit 100 points, windshield washer fluid went to the fans. What do you think we should? What do you think? What do you think the people ought to get if West Virginia hits 100 on Haunted Hoops?
I feel like there's probably some like $5 to an app or something. I don't know. Like, we didn't have that then, but I feel like that's what people do now. Like, download this app and you get something free. It's like something annoying that I definitely wouldn't do. There's no doubt.
We're talking like geriatric millennials.
Yeah,
Meg.
I know. I'm like, we didn't have that, but I guarantee you it's like, download this and you get a free, and I'd be like, whatever.
What's a Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
Couple of misses there for Morris. On the other end, West Virginia Tech. A little too much out of control, and Hemingway runs down the loose ball.
Hey, you give me a Bitcoin, I might be downloading that. Who knows?
That's worth a lot. I just found out.
Oh, yeah.
Carson for three, and
Okay.
Carson knocks it home. Picking up right where she left off, 25 tonight for Jasmine Carson. Tie up in the lane, and West Virginia get it back. I found out a Bitcoin's worth about 63 grand, or something like that,
Oh,
because the guy who, again, Tom Brady's,
Love that. I saw Tom Brady say that. He got the football.
he had his milestone football. It was lost because the receiver tossed it in the stands. He
Yeah.
gave up a Bitcoin.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
If it hits one day, that man, he's going to be very happy he gave that football up.
Somebody said at this moment 63 grand or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also got 2 season tickets this year and the rest of the year, $1,000 at the Bucks team store. He cleaned up.
Ooh.
Inside steal, going back the other way. Pull-up jumper left short from Hutchinson may have been affected. Rogers, nice outlet ahead for West Virginia's Quinerly, and Quinerly gets the finish there. The freshman out of Norfolk, Virginia, pulls West Virginia to within a bucket of that century mark. On the other end, they didn't get back on defense, and Michaela Jones made the pay.
And that will be on the film reel tomorrow, because those are just little things you got to get back in transition.
Yeah. This has been a long
Gotta
stretch
get
of
back.
back and forth basketball, but still,
It
you're
has.
right. That's going to show up in the film room.
There's no doubt.
Winter Rogers almost, I thought she was going to catch and shoot there. Morris with a dump underneath. Gray turnaround and a little wide that time.
Official timeout.
Timeout on the floor, 4:18 to go in this exhibition between West Virginia and West Virginia Tech. The Mountaineers all over the Golden Bears, 97-33 on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
Reserve yours now on WPTV.com by calling 1-800-WPTV or by visiting the Mountaineer ticket office located at the Golden Beans. Keep up with women's basketball on Twitter and Facebook all season long. Just search WB Women's Basketball to follow the Mountaineers for updates, pictures, videos,
Paula Abdul. I used to do that every single game with that.
West Virginia shooting 51% from the field, leading this game 97-33 over West Virginia Tech. After a very cold start to the game, Meg, the Mountaineers starting to work the ball inside and convert some makeable opportunities.
And I thought, again, the biggest difference was Carson started to hit some threes that extended West Virginia Tech's defense out, opened up the inside, and then you really can start to get that inside-out game going. And that was much more effective for West Virginia on the offensive end after the guards really stepped it up.
Mountaineers approaching the century mark. Meanwhile, West Virginia Tech trying to make things happen. Nice steal from Quinterly. Nice inside dish to Ari Gray. Threads the needle, and Gray puts the Mountaineers at 99.
And that could be on film for a wonderful reason. Textbook read defensively, but kept that ball in her right hand. That's exactly how Coach Carey teaches it in transition. So if you want to make that bounce pass when the defense steps up, you're right there to make that bounce pass strong. Quinterly made an excellent pass. Head was up the entire time. That was just a great job from the backup point guard right now in transition.
Now that she hit Michaela Jones when she was on the floor, Jones backed into her, but Quinterly picks up the foul. Quinterly's at 4 fouls, so one way or another, we're not going to see too much more. Now a steal, Winter Rogers to put West Virginia above the century mark. 101 for West Virginia on a finish from Winter Rogers.
And her first points as a Mountaineer, she gets to say she got them at the 100 mark. Or 1 over.
Close enough. Gray with a steal. And Gray can't finish at the iron. She's close to the keep it 100 emoji, but it would have been perfect if she'd been fouled, and then she could have posted that.
She's like, keep it 101.
Well, you know what? That's even better than 100, though. It's 100 plus 1. That's like saying I give it 110%. You know?
Yes,
like
exactly.
you can't really do that. But I don't remember who, but somebody in the World Series has the keep it 100 emoji and a gold necklace pendant.
I love it.
Gray gets the finish. I couldn't imagine playing any kind of a sport with a giant pendant dangling from my neck.
I think that all the time when I see them go to bat.
As Gray makes both.
I'm slow enough. I don't need that holding me down and trying to run to first base. I can't.
Ball players are a different breed. The inside look, nice slip from Michaela Jones, but she can't finish. Gets it back, working hard for West Virginia Tech. And you like this tenacity out of West Virginia Tech this late in the game, still working.
No, I was just going to say that when you said that about Jones, that was a great take. Yeah, she didn't finish, but she did not give up. She didn't, drop her head and not care. She goes after that offensive rebound, maintains the possession, and draws a foul.
I had to turn around and look at your picture behind me. I was thinking, did you wear jewelry when you played? I was going to ask you. I don't think you did you?
No. We absolutely can't. You can't even have anything on your wrist.
Different rules, in
yeah.
basketball and B at the college
big
level.
Time. Oh, big time, yeah.
Witt stripped on the way up. Quinterly leading the charge for the Mountaineers. The two Golden Bears trapped behind the play. Gray can't make it work through two defenders. And there's the finish from Yamaya Morris. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't imagine anything dangling as I'm trying to do something athletic.
No.
Strip, and West Virginia Tech keeps it. Much less some of the pendants I'm seeing out of these guys in the postseason. Some serious bling. So Gray and Morris leave after a job well done. Cunningham and Bay come back on, but
Morris and Gray had, I thought, a great third and fourth quarter. They play
Virginia,
well together as well. I think they read off of each other very nice.
and West Virginia has found something, I think you're right, in that combo particularly. Does that ever happen on a roster where two players, maybe not on their own, impress, but maybe together impress a coach enough to where a coach will consider using them together in a situation?
Absolutely. As Cunningham hits the 10-footer, you got to go with chemistry. We mentioned that earlier. I think that's a lot of the combos Coach Carey's deciding on. Who plays well together? Who reads each other well?
Peanut butter and jelly.
Exactly. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. And has there ever been a better combo? I mean, you have to find that chemistry that you can't teach, and you definitely are seeing that. You see it with Esmery Martinez and Nyblack.
As Quinterly finishes at the hole.
Quinterly really getting some great minutes here in the fourth quarter. I feel like on the defensive end as well as on the offensive end and her passing ability.
She created the opportunity, took it coast to coast. I'm interested to see more out of Isis Bay in particular here, Meg, in the last couple minutes of this game.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of her throughout the game, but yeah, as you mentioned, almost everyone now at this point has had a few bright spots into the game. So anxious to see what she'll be able to do.
Bay was the 2020 Mountain West all-freshman team on that team at UNLV. Had a brief stop at Salt Lake City Community College on her way here. Final minute of play from the WVU Coliseum. A drive from Samuel, and Samuel finishes to the basket. Another player who's impressed tonight.
Really has. Really like her around the basket.
West Virginia Tech looking for another bright spot or two in this exhibition. Jones loses it, has some space. Wide open Emily Witt loses the handle. Outside for Marcelli. Marcelli's floater goes long. The Pep Band in full regular season form with the air ball chant.
This is their time to get ready too. They can't take a night off. They got to get ready. They got 2 weeks off now. They got to get ready for that first game.
I love that you delivered that analysis with a perfectly serious face.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, they're ready. They're just as ready. You don't think they have like practice tomorrow where like you weren't on key or tune or something like that?
It's like the scene in
Sure.
Rudolph.
Yeah,
we're a little short in the tenor section. As Quinterly finishes again. Another highlight for Quinterly, and that one's thrown long. So West Virginia will have a look with 9.2 left. Do you go to the rim here, or you just throw it in bounds, get across half court, and shake some hands?
Yeah, you just got to hold it back, shake some hands, and appreciate. Now, I'll appreciate all the bright spots. I'm not sure Coach Carey's going to appreciate all the bright spots immediately, but he will eventually.
Slow start for West Virginia, but there were many bright spots at a 113-33 win over West Virginia Tech. Meg, this team started slow, but really impressed in the final three quarters, and we saw that depth flexed a little bit for the Mountaineers.
Absolutely, and I loved the different combinations he was trying, and it actually got me thinking, okay, I like these two together. We saw Morris and Gray together. I thought Savannah Samuels, everyone that came